Welcome to Igniting Inspired Insight, a space for beautiful, expansive conversations with incredible humans. I'm your host, Jay, and as you know, I'm here to empower and to expand in the energy and love of life. In each short episode, we explore three questions that open the door to reflection, resonance, and revelation. You know the questions, so let's get into this. This is a space for truth, trust, and the kind of insight that comes from simply being human. Let's begin. Today, I get to dial in with a really beautiful human who actually, it's been a minute, so it's really special for us to be able to connect. And I'm really excited to see where the inquiry takes us. So, from on the other side of the world, I would love to introduce and share Meredith with you. And my love, Meredith, for those who are listening, who are you?
Hmm, who am I?
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that we have this reason to, not that we need this reason, but I'm so glad that this opportunity has brought us together for connecting time. Um,
Me too.
who am I? I am a photographer. I'm a visual seer. I am the granddaughter of Marjorie and Joseph Meredith, and the namesake of Joseph Meredith. Um, I'm daughter of Eileen and Lloyd. I'm granddaughter of Barbara and Rose. So I'm double namesake.
Yay.
Yeah, I was born in Campbell River on Vancouver Island, which is named the salmon capital of the world. And I'm not far from there. I've traveled all over the place, but I've ended up about 35 minutes down the road in the
Hmm.
Comox Valley. I live in Cumberland, BC. And yeah, I'm a dog mom. I'm a friend. I'm a daughter. I get little kids to call me Grandma Mare. All my friends' little kids.
I love it.
And what else? All kinds of things. But above all, I'm a lover.
I don't know this about you.
Mhm.
Beautiful human.
You too.
So here we get to land in this first question. We're just going to slide on into it. What's one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world?
My mind is just holding at the first time I ever swam with the whale sharks in La
Mm.
Paz, Mexico. I feel like it's maybe my first peak experience in life. Um, we were down there on vacation with my now ex-husband, and my sister was with us. And that was pretty special in itself, just for her to be on vacation with us and for us to be on vacation. And we were in Cabo, and we went up to this little town called La Paz, and we went out on a boat. And I think we were out for about 3 hours. And my then husband was food sick with because he had eaten some curry goat meal the night before in a restaurant. So he stayed on the boat for most of the time. And my sister and I just got to play around in the ocean with
Mm.
these school bus sized animals.
Wow.
And I'm sure you've swam with turtles or dolphins. There's just something completely extraordinary about being in the water close to those creatures, because when you're in the water, you're not your body, you're not standing on the earth, and you're not able to see your arms and your waistline or any of that stuff. You're witnessing, you're just what
Mhm.
you see because your body's behind you. And I remember them saying you're not allowed to touch them. And I remember they touched me and I was like, ooh, I'm not allowed to touch you. But one of the whales came close to me and touched my legs, and I remember bringing my knees up because I'm like, I'm not allowed. But he came up and brushed up beside me, and they're actually like completely extraordinary. They're
Mm-hmm.
literally the same size as a school bus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like they have little lights along their backs, along
Oh,
their whole
wow.
backs, because they're dark blue with white speckles all along them. And so the people that we were with um, weren't as crazy nature nuts as my sister and I are. So we stayed in the water as long as we possibly could and just played and were just in awe the entire time. And I think the way that that changed the way that I see the world is just through having a peak experience, because I can't remember having an experience that was that mind blowing before then. Yeah, that's my
How do you
answer.
feel like having a peak experience like that change the way you view your world outside of that?
It's an expander. It's like, this is possible now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? This is a feeling that you've had in your body, and this is something that you can find somewhere else now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The experience of awe and wonder, right?
Yeah.
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 And it's so rare to have an experience like that where you're connected with something so much greater than you, so much bigger, but not just on a size scale, but an energy and oh, just innate. Like even though, because I think about vibration and sound when connecting with animals like that, and the awe of the sea, and I hear you, I feel that too. It's just like this different level of presence of what's available for us on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm. And I would say that that applies to all animals, because I've had similar experiences now with horses, because their presence is it's the most important, strongest thing about their existence
Mm-hmm.
is their awareness and their presence and their energy
Mm.
and the direction of that energy, right? And we are so often distracted by our minds because we have that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of people that are learning to come into that knowing now. You know, we're
Agreed.
kind of carving away at it in humanity. People are starting to become more aware of those ways of being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
we're rediscovering the tools to clear this so that we can be more this
Mm-hmm.
and this,
Embodied. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Gut and heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's such a special thing. Those peak moments really anchor us in on a new trajectory too, don't you think?
Hmm.
For that
Yeah,
reason, it changes the way we view the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So special.
yeah. I want to go
Thank-
back there now.
Yeah. Well, you can, and you are right
Mm.
now, right?
I know I have a friend who's going to take her daughter down there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just fly down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we are. Second question. And one of the reasons I wanted to ask you this is because I know the path you've been on, some of it, but also the same as me, you're always looking for growth and learning and curiosity, right?
Hmm.
So that's the lens in which this question comes from. So the second question being the in the moments. You don't know what I'm about to ask you. What's your go-to coping mechanism when life is challenging? And I know that that will have evolved, but what do you feel like, or where do you feel like it is at now?
Hmm. That's a good question. I've literally been equipping my toolbox for, it feels like a long time. Maybe I would say my first yoga class was the first time that I started to be like, oh, there's this thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this feeling that I can return to. Yeah. So my first yoga class ever was in a kind of a terrible like women's gym in Campbell
Mm-hmm.
River.
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher was, she had to be in her 60s and she had an English accent. And I'd never tried it before. And she brought me into a state of, the only way that I can describe it is like the feeling of home inside. Because that's kind
Yes.
of where you are. Well, not, it's not kind of, it is where you get to go to once you reach Shavasana or other
Mm-hmm.
states, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Savasana, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Okay, well, I would say that my go-to, I have so many go-tos, but my most strong go-tos these days are time in nature, especially the forest, because I can actually co-regulate with trees and communicate with trees.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can go up to a tree if I'm having some trouble with something or I have a question about something, I can put my hand on a tree and ask it what what wisdom I need to know and I will get an answer. So
Mm.
100% forests, which is amazing because of where I live.
Yes.
And the other thing is breath work. Like every morning for the last, it's been probably about 2 weeks, I've returned to a practice that I was doing 5 years ago that I have
Mm-hmm.
strayed from on a ritualistic level. Anyways, like there's been
Mm-hmm.
intermittent practice, but I do this every single day now. I wake up in the morning, I go pee, I get back into my bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I do a little bit of Sufi grind. I do a little bit of opening up my sides, and then I do skull shining breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I do meditation throughout. And I just listen to my body and I ask it what it wants, like which parts of my body want to stretch. And I think it can vary between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. It's not a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to clear my mental state. I'm able to clear my energetic body and I'm able to tune into where I am. And because I start the day in that way,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it just changes everything. So
Mm.
that's my go-to.
I love when you said about like these practices that you've had and that you're swinging back to, and I feel like that's actually a really natural, on reflection, a really natural thing for us to do. Is
Yeah.
there are practices people are like, oh, I used to do that a lot, and maybe they say or think it in a way of like it kind of I should have been doing it more. But I feel like there
Mm-hmm.
are some that literally weave in because they were right at the time, and then we weave something else in. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that we are naturally meant to ebb and evolve with these practices and how they serve us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's something, because of the clarity that I'm experiencing, I'm receiving a lot of, I just feel and think a lot of wisdom
Yeah.
because I'm clear. I'm not being distracted by my own BS,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that has been happening is instead of, oh, I see this thing in the house that needs to be done and I still haven't done it. It's more like, okay, that needs to be done, but right now is not the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as hard on myself because I don't have
Beautiful.
that voice isn't such an asshole.
That's the
The
power
voice is
to
more
me.
gentle and kind, right?
Yeah. To me, that's the greatest work we can do is change the thoughts within ourselves, within our head. You might have to read it. I
Don't
can't
think
see
about
it.
it. It says treat yourself with gentleness. That's the
Yes.
card that we pulled for you.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it, yeah, that's how it's been feeling lately is I just
Mm-hmm.
feel more gentle with myself and gentle with
Yep.
everything around me, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I love that you showed that card because then, I can reflect back to you and my answer to that question, what's your go-to coping mechanism when life is challenging is to slow down.
Yeah.
To be in
Yeah,
the
take a minute.
slowness and softness of self is the medicine.
Yeah.
And to be in the listening of what's truly coming through, not what the mind is trying to make sense of.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and as you alluded to use the tools, whatever they may be, to find your like clarity
Yeah.
and the alignment for yourself.
Yeah.
And we all need different ways and routes to do that, but that's it, right? And then
Yeah.
coming back to that presence.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
like I haven't been in this state for a couple of years, and I'm just so happy to feel this way again right now. And
Yeah.
I recognize how temporary it is. Like
Hmm.
something might come up in my life and throw me off course, and I might forget that I was doing this morning routine every day and go back
Hmm.
into like a more difficult way of being, of experiencing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
But then also
everything is
acknowledging that
temporary.
the more often we do it, the more often we naturally feel pulled back to it. There's less making ourselves and more just it drops
Yeah.
in terms of the practices, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also like going back to the fact that the less the less I give myself a hard time about a potential shift. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you have to steer and sort of go with the day the way that it goes, right?
100%.
And if you can be gentle with yourself about those things, you're
Mhm.
100% more likely to climb back in
Absolutely.
that groove, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it's got lost in the concept of if I berate myself, that will bring me back to it. And it never works.
No,
No, it's like the
no.
more you're hard on yourself about that, the more you're seeing that thing as a failure rather than something that you can tune into when you feel right. So it's like, it's okay. I didn't do it today. I've got boodles of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. Mm. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Here we are. I'm excited. So now we're in a third section, which is reflecting light. So, my love, you have a question for me.
Yes. Okay. So the question is, and I'm actually getting this out of a little book that I have
Yes,
because I
cool.
thought that would be fun. The one that pops up is if you were to become a telephone counselor in a crisis center, what type of personal crisis do you think you would be the most difficult to deal with? No, I want to change that. I'm going to change it to be my own version of this question. If you were to become a telephone counselor in a crisis center, which crisis do you feel the most equipped to help people through?
Which crisis do I feel the most equipped to
And
help
why?
people through? Um, I'm not really sure there are any that it's quite a tricky question. I mean, my initial reaction is anything.
That's what my response is for you
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Like or so then on the flip side, which is where the question was going in the beginning, was like, are there any that you wouldn't feel equipped with? And I don't feel that either. Um, yeah, it's really, really interesting. And I think just like reflecting on different experiences and challenges and um traumas, if we want to call them that. I don't, they were at the time, I don't see them that way now, but um there's a certain level of experience and also space, presence, and compassion that comes through in those sort of situations. And so I feel like, I mean, it's just like this massive warmth and safety that I know that I could create for them no matter what. But well, I can't say no matter what because I don't know what their experience is like. But you know, um, yeah, that's a really interesting question. And sometimes I wonder about, how much safety is available in those sort of environments, on those calls and things like that.
What kind
Um,
of safety? Emotional
mm,
safety or
mm, hmm
privacy safety?
No, emotional safety. That's a good thing to clarify. Yeah. because those are moments of impact, right? Not just what's happening to them, but how they're received, how the space is held for them in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean right as in you can get it wrong, but you have the opportunity to really meet them where they're at. Yeah, and allow that because we know a lot of trauma is created not from the experience, but the way we receive that experience or what happens during what we decide about that experience. So if we can be in the space of letting that experience move through us rather than because the trauma is where it gets interrupted, it doesn't get processed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really complex question, eh? Because then my head goes to, well, you can't do that in the moment because there's an emergency. So, blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah. Mm. What about you?
I feel the same way. I feel
Yeah.
like you and I are very similar in the way that we have had a lot of experiences that have equipped us with a lot of compassion and
Hmm.
understanding.
Hmm.
Sometimes I think about myself as a Swiss Army knife. You
Yes.
know, I
Yes.
feel like you can come to me with anything and I'll be like, I understand that because of this. I understand that
Hmm.
because of this. I understand that because of this.
Hmm.
And when I was going through my divorce, my that was one thing that my mom did for me that really taught me something. That she said two words, and they were the best words that anyone said to me while I was going through that grief. And she just said, I understand.
Hmm.
And as soon as she said that, I just felt completely held.
Hmm.
And so to have someone who's, even if you've only been through something similar or you know someone who's been through something, it's like
Hmm.
the ability to understand is the most powerful
Hmm.
tool that we have,
Agreed. And I
and
think that
gift.
even if the experience isn't similar, what you're really saying isn't, I understand exactly what that experience is like for you. What you're really saying is, I understand the feelings you're having.
Mm-hmm. I've felt that way too,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
I may
Yeah.
not have had this grief, but I've had grief.
Hmm.
Like I have felt grief.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I
Yeah.
understand that you are feeling grief.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, I haven't had
Yeah.
that specific blend,
Hmm.
but
Yeah. Yep.
right?
But I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's actually been like a common thread this week for me with clients and even just in other conversations of just talking about that level of compassion that arrives when you've been through what you have and you've chosen to work through it, work with it.
And stay open.
Yeah, yeah, because it doesn't just arrive because of what you've been through. It arrives with the way you choose to be present with what you've been through and to really process all those things that were at some point kind of referring back to maybe interrupted in that moment. And so there's still that work within you that needs to be loved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unpacked. But that, and I believe that resilience and that choice to lean into the hard stuff and the choice to work through the really sticky parts that we didn't choose, we didn't ask for, we wish they weren't there, but they're there, and we work with them like that. That's when compassion really arrives.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that compassion is something we choose. I think that it's something that's inbuilt
I like that.
through what we've been. Like I think empathy is something we can choose, but compassion, like really like true compassion, is something that's created from within.
Yeah, because empathy is respecting that someone is having that feeling And compassion is like understanding and, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I actually feel for you in this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's also looking at it from the lens in which they're sitting instead of within from yours. And it's
Yeah.
like it's really meeting them at what they're in. Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful. And some people may
Mhm.
feel differently, and I'm open to hearing about that. But
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation because I've never heard anyone say that before. So I'm right now just like, oh, yeah, considering that
mm,
and thinking about that.
mm. We'll see where that thread goes, huh?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
compassion
Me too. Me
and
too.
empathy.
Yeah. But I want to clarify there. I don't think it's like it's something that you earned. Therefore, it's not
No,
like if you don't have it, it's because it's not about like what you haven't done yet.
no, I think it's more about what you've been through. Like
Hmm.
the more you've passed through the gates of hell, the more suffering you've experienced, or the
Hmm.
more trials and tribulations or difficulties that you've been through, the more ability you have to feel that, right? The
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
ability you have to, it goes back to understanding.
Yeah. If you've chosen to heal in those spaces.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because I do again, I think the compassion is not from being through the experiences, but from facing what's occurred because of the experiences.
Hmm.
Like what we've decided, or what stories, or what trauma is stored in the body, like that's where compassion is really found, is enduring and experiencing and choosing to do that work.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that there's a certain level of tangent but relevant, I think.
Hmm.
There's I don't think that you can have compassion without truly feeling equality.
Hmm. Oh yeah, you can't have compassion from here,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mm-mm.
And I wonder if you could say that you can't have compassion from here either. Maybe
Not true,
compassion
not
is,
true, not true compassion. No. Because if
right?
you're seeing yourself as a lesser version while having compassion for another, that's not because compassion is compassion for all, self and the other.
Yeah.
Compassion isn't just outward, it's reciprocity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe
Ooh,
compassion is the ultimate understanding.
yeah. Maybe. I think that it's actually a really fair statement. And to me, I believe that's true.
Hmm.
That's why I say to me that's true. Because we all have different truths. But yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I'm really curious to see maybe what inquiry comes for others on that
Hmm.
for sure. So and I feel like we could go so much deeper, but that's maybe for another time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Chapter 2.
yes, yes. So I wanted to say thank you so much for being here and for sharing, what's come through for you. And I would love to take a minute just to, for those who are listening, if they want to connect to you and what you do, and if they check out your work. And I've actually received a little bit of your work a while ago, but I see you and your work and I feel your work. So I would love to take a moment for you to share with others what you do and where they can connect with you, how they can find you.
They can track me down. I am
Yeah.
on the internet.
Hmm.
You can find me at worldwideweb.meredithrosphotography.com.
Yes.
And that's my website. And then through there, you can channel through to my Instagram, which is where I stay in
Hmm.
touch with people the most. My Facebook page is really lame. I don't
Hmm.
feed it much.
Yeah.
Um, but my Instagram is where I put all my love and energy
Yeah.
through my photography.
And we'll link
And I
that
have a
in the show
print shop
notes.
on my website. Pardon?
Yay. And we'll link those in the show notes for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a print
And I'd
shop
love
on
to
your
hang out.
website?
I have a print shop. Yeah, for my it's it's my art medicine is what
Mm-hmm.
my prints are on there.
Yay.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I love it.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Yay.
you.
And
Thanks
for,
for inviting me.
always and again and again. And for those
Yeah.
who are joining us for another episode of Igniting Inspired Insight, if today's conversation moved you, I really invite you to share that with someone or to sit down on the topics that came up for you, maybe on that piece around compassion. And remember, the insight lives in everyday moments, as you hear right here on the podcast. Like the true insight and wisdom that we find in life is through what we receive in the experience of being human. So keep listening, keep asking, and keep igniting the way for you. Thank you, Meredith.
You, Jay.
Mm. Mwah.